Imagine a single, infinite source, beyond thought, beyond words, beyond all categories, from which the entire cosmos emerges like light radiating from the sun. This was the vision of the 5th century philosopher Proclus, one of the last great masters of Neoplatonism, who believed that all of reality flows from a single, ineffable principle, known simply as the One. To Proclus, the universe is not an accident nor a collection of separate things, but an ordered procession of being, cascading through layers of existence, consciousness, and soul, and then returning to its source in an eternal cycle of emanation and reunion. This is a vision where metaphysics becomes poetry, the cosmos as a living hierarchy, animated by divine intelligence, where every being, from the highest gods to the smallest creatures, participates in the same unfolding unity. In this video, we'll journey into Proclus's philosophy, exploring his teachings on the One, the chain of emanations, the role of the soul in cosmic harmony, and how his vision still resonates with modern science, mysticism, and our deepest intuitions about the unity of all things. Proclus was born in 412 CE in Constantinople and educated in Alexandria, a vibrant crossroads of Greek, Roman, and Egyptian thought. Eventually, he studied in Athens under the philosopher Plutarch of Athens and became head of the Platonic Academy. Carrying forward the legacy of Plato and Plotinus during the final flourishing of pagan philosophy, before the rise of Christian dominance in the Roman Empire. While the political and religious world around him was rapidly changing, Proclus preserved and expanded upon a profound vision of reality. That synthesized Greek philosophy, mathematics, theology, and mysticism. Unlike Plato, whose dialogues often invite open interpretation, Proclus developed a highly systematic metaphysics, mapping the structure of the cosmos in detail, from the ineffable One to the material world. At the heart of his vision was the belief that knowledge, beauty, and divinity are not separate pursuits but aspects of a single path, the soul's ascent back to its origin. For Proclus, everything begins and ultimately ends with the One, the absolute principle beyond all opposites, beyond even being and thought. The One is not a thing among other things. It is pure unity, the inexhaustible source from which all diversity flows. Yet the One is also ineffable, beyond human language or conceptual grasp. We cannot describe what the One is. We can only understand it through its effects, the emanations it gives rise to. Proclus compared this to the way sunlight radiates from the sun. The light spreads outward endlessly without diminishing the source. In the same way, the One overflows into existence, producing the many while remaining perfectly whole. This idea challenges our usual categories of thought, dissolving the boundary between creator and creation, subject and object, inner and outer. In Proclus's vision, to contemplate the One is to sense the silent presence behind all forms, the indivisible unity beneath the diversity of the cosmos. From the One flows a vast hierarchy of being, a chain of emanations where each level reflects the divine light in different degrees of fullness. First arises Nous, the divine intellect, containing the archetypal forms, timeless patterns of truth and meaning. From Nous proceeds Psyche, the world soul, which bridges the eternal and the temporal, infusing life and order into the cosmos. Finally, the material universe emerges, where the divine becomes manifest as physical form. But this process is not a single moment in time. It is an eternal outpouring, a rhythmic cycle of descent and return. Just as rivers flow from a spring and eventually find their way back to the ocean, all beings originate in the One and are drawn inexorably back toward it. Emanation, for Proclus, is not separation but relationship. Even the lowest forms of matter are connected by an unbroken chain to their divine source. To understand reality is to trace these pathways of return, seeing the visible world as a reflection of hidden, intelligible structures. Within this vast hierarchy, the human soul occupies a unique place. According to Proclus, the soul originates in the divine realm, but descends into embodiment, where it becomes entangled with time, change, and desire. Yet the soul never loses its connection to its source. Deep within us is the memory of the One, a quiet longing to return. Philosophy for Proclus was not merely intellectual speculation, but a spiritual practice aimed at awakening this memory. Through contemplation, ritual, and the cultivation of virtue, the soul retraces the path of emanation, rising back through the levels of Nous and Psyche toward reunion with the divine. Proclus believed that true knowledge is not something we create, but something we remember, a gradual recollection of our eternal nature. This vision aligns the pursuit of wisdom with the deepest desire of the heart, to know ourselves as expressions of the infinite, called to return to the unity from which we came. For Proclus, the ascent of the soul was not accomplished by reason alone. While philosophy guides the intellect, he also taught the practice of Theurgy, sacred rituals designed to align the individual with higher realities. Theurgy, from the Greek meaning divine work, was based on the idea that symbols, prayers, and sacred acts can open the soul to the presence of the divine energies flowing through the cosmos. These were not superstitions, but precise, contemplative practices aimed at harmonizing the microcosm of the individual with the macrocosm of the universe. In performing Theurgy, one is not summoning distant gods, but awakening the divine already latent within. For Proclus, ritual and reason work hand in hand. Theurgy transforms the heart, while philosophy illuminates the mind, guiding the soul into deeper attunement with the cosmic order. Proclus's vision of reality anticipates many insights emerging today in science and philosophy. His idea of the One as the source of all being resonates with modern cosmology's search for a unified origin of the universe. While his hierarchy of emanations mirrors theories of complexity and emergence in physics and biology. Moreover, his belief that consciousness pervades reality parallels modern discussions of panpsychism and quantum interconnectedness. Where materialist science often treats life and mind as accidents in a meaningless cosmos, Proclus offers a radically different narrative. The universe is alive with intelligence at every level. And human awareness is not an isolated phenomenon, but a microcosmic reflection of the divine Nous. In this way, Proclus's teachings provide a bridge between ancient metaphysics and contemporary explorations of consciousness, inviting us to see the cosmos not as inert matter, but as a living expression of the One. Proclus's philosophy is not only a cosmology, but also a guide for living. To understand that we are emanations of the One is to realize that every action, every thought, every relationship participates in the divine order. This insight calls us to live with reverence and responsibility, seeing in others and in nature, not separation, but reflection. When we act from this awareness, we align ourselves with the cosmic harmony, allowing the divine currents to flow through us more fully. Proclus invites us to cultivate stillness, contemplation, and devotion, not as escapes from the world, but as ways of deepening our participation in it. The spiritual journey is not about leaving creation behind, but recognizing its sacredness, understanding that to love the cosmos is to love the One, and to love the One is to love all beings as facets of the same infinite light. For Proclus, the story of existence begins and ends in the One, the ineffable source from which all flows and to which all returns. The universe is a living procession of consciousness, a cascading hierarchy of being. And yet beneath its complexity lies a profound simplicity. Everything we are and everything we see arises from the same eternal origin. To awaken to this truth is to remember that we are not separate from the cosmos, but expressions of its deepest essence. In contemplating the One, we glimpse the unity behind all opposites, the silence beneath all sounds, the light that shines through every form. Proclus's vision invites us to live as conscious participants in this cosmic unfolding, to embrace the mystery of creation while remembering the still point at its heart, where all paths converge and where the many dissolve back into the One.